verge of a heart attack. I'm in shock and there ain't no way to bring me back. Call me crazy, but I think it must be love. I can taste that cherry lipstick and it tastes just like I'm in a dream. Don't need no filter, no, I take it straight. I'm in love with the air that she breathes. She like a remedy. Honey glazed him like medicine, like an itch from an old addiction. In a daze, I think it must be love. So run your hand down my neck and kiss me, and wind me up like an old time movie. You're killing me, but I think it must be love. I can taste that cherry lipstick and it tastes just like I'm in a dream. Don't need no filter, no, I take it straight. I'm in love with the air that she breathes. She like a remedy. Marijuana, marijuana, get down. Marijuana, get down. I can taste that cherry lipstick and it tastes just like I'm in a dream. Don't need no filter, no, I take it straight. I'm in love with the air that she breathes. Oh, I can taste that cherry lipstick and it tastes just like I'm in a dream. Oh, don't need no filter, no, I take it straight. I'm in love with the air that she breathes. She like a remedy. She like a remedy.
She like a remedy.
That,
Put it here.
that lipstick remedy.
Hello! As it goes to zero, wait for it to come back. It's coming 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 back. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us again here for another episode of Van Philosophy. You guys wanted us to do a cool, crazy story. Last year we had you guys vote in the comments. So we have another crazy one for you guys. Before we get kicked into that, I'd like to say,
Excuse me.
What's up, Steve? What's up, Sherry? What's up, Rachel? What's up, Aaron? Thank you guys for being here early and joining us for the story. Also, what have you been up to, man? Besides just guzzling water.
You know, this week, guzzling water. It's so hot.
It's been hot.
And like with the, I don't know, what do they call it when it's like, they're like, it's this hot, but it feels this hot?
Ignorance.
ignorance.
Because it's just hot.
It's
It's
called
that
like
hot.
a heat index or something, like humidity factor.
But it always feels weird. They're like, it's actually 100 degrees, but it feels like it's 110. So it's 110.
Well, I know with wind chill, it actually scientifically works because the wind will actually cause water to freeze at a different rate.
Kyle should have been a weatherman.
But with heat, I don't know. But anyway, I remember looking at my phone and they're like, it feels like 110 this week. And
Yeah, I think it was actually 107. It did get 107 yesterday.
Yeah, it's been insane.
It was pretty crazy. Besides that, anything else?
You know, I feel a lot looser this week. I think I
Loosey-goosey.
finally got that back problem better and feel good. And yeah, I've been doing some carpentry stuff this week. Also, I got my tracks done for the next Patreon project, and I know I said I wanted to add another.
I think you had those done last week.
Did I have them done? I had them done.
Yeah.
Well, but I didn't have them submitted to you though.
You had one track that was submitted today.
Yeah, I get them to you after the vlog tonight, and then I went back and kind of combed through some stuff.
Right.
And then sent them over, and then I said I wanted to add another part. So I actually worked on that yesterday and finished it up today and got it in, and I came here and you kind of showed me what you've been doing with it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited.
It's pretty much nothing. Yeah. I just sat there and stared at it. That's what I've been doing.
Well, even this. The thing is when we produce all of the stuff that's not guitar and drums, a lot of times we go well, it'll be kind of like this.
Right. Yeah. It's preliminary.
And then I always say my notes always says these are the prelim tracks for this.
Yeah.
And I saw some stuff that you changed around and stuff. And I thought it was.
I don't change it around. I'll just let Kyle do all of it. I don't do anything. But yeah, I've been working on the new song, trying to get that together. I do have a lot of really cool ideas for the video when we get to shooting it. And it will take probably a little bit because we do have some shows coming up. Mm-hmm. I'm going to try to dive as deep as I can into it this week. But we do have shows coming up. Next week, we're going down to Statesboro for Burrow Fest, which is going to be really rad. That's on Friday next week. Yeah. And then we have an acoustic thing next weekend.
Yeah, unplugged thing the week after in Dahlonega.
And then
we have another full show in Hiawassee at the end of the month.
Hiawassee. And Steve here, so ready. We're ready too. It's going to be fun. So I can't wait. They're going to be there. You going to be there? Are you going to be there?
I'm definitely going to be there. I kind of have to be there.
Yeah, I've been thinking about just not.
No?
Yeah, I don't know.
What am I going to do? Just go.
I don't know what you would do.
Just sing.
Yeah. You stand there and sing. Actually, you play piano. Play piano and sing.
That.
See, I think it'd be worse if it was just me. If it was just me going up there and playing everything.
Just drums and synth.
Drums and
that
synth
might be kind of cool though.
Yeah.
Because we do that in our live shows though.
Right.
We actually do those exact things where I just do a song just me on piano and you do a song with synth and drums, and it's cool.
But you get claps and I get boos, so I'm already thinking that
No, man. I think here's the thing though, because I go out in the crowd when you do your thing, and I sit and stand next to people, and people will be like, "Holy shit!" I'm like, "Yeah," and it'll be done. And people will still be like, "That's crazy."
He's making it up.
No.
But yeah, so we do have some cool shows. Make sure you go to rochambeauxmusic.com/tour-dates and see what all we have coming up. We have some cool stuff on the books. We're finally starting to have a few more than 1, 2, 3. So let's get into the story, man. Let us know in the comments what you guys have been up to. We miss you guys so much. We've both been so busy doing our reg stuff and doing the music stuff. Let us know what you guys have been up to, but let's get into the story about the Hello Kitty murder.
Yep. And we talked about this in the fam today. We're like, it's a pretty graphic story. And like you said, I don't know, is it really graphic? There's parts of it that are pretty graphic, so just...
Kyle, here's the thing, and this is why we're a good team. Kyle says it's graphic. And I say...
Let your kids watch it.
Yeah. It's your choice. Do your thing. It's totally fine. I think it's okay. I'm sure you're doing a good job as a parent. I trust you as a parent.
We trust you.
And I trust you, and I think that you're doing a good job.
Your parental discretion.
If they hear some story, it only helps them hear another story.
Yeah.
To learn from, experience.
And this was in the 90s. This was a long time ago.
It was yesterday in my house. No. But let's get started with the story, man. How's it start off?
Okay, so in May of 1999, and the other thing I have to say is this takes place in Tsim Shui, Hong Kong. And I hope I'm saying it right. There's going to be a bunch of Chinese words that we say, and I hope I'm probably not saying them right.
I'm just going to go with it occurred in Hong Kong.
Yeah. So in Tsim Shui, Hong Kong, a teenager comes frantically running into a police station, and she's just hysterical and screaming things, probably screaming stuff like, make it stop and help and all this stuff. So they're trying to calm her down. So the police are believing that this teenager must have been a victim of a crime or something. So they sit her down, they calm her down, and ask her to explain the situation. So this teenager's name is Ah Fong. And she finally calms down and explains to the police that she's been having these visions and nightmares of the ghost of this woman who is strung up with electrical cords hanging from the ceiling and just screaming and crying and begging to be avenged.
You're like bound in electrical wire.
Yeah. So the police kind of shift gears and they're aggravated, but some of them are a little relieved that this is probably just a case of a wild imagination and that nothing's actually happened because they're saying she's having nightmares and visions. So they're like, probably no crime's been committed.
Well, imagine somebody comes in, even like they're not at the police station. They come up to you and they're like, man, there's this thing that's like, it's like this apparition thing following me around, it's bound up and screaming. Mm-hmm. You go, are you sure?
You probably need to go to the hospital, not the police station.
Yeah, maybe you need to like go talk to somebody, right?
So, they're still trying to calm her down and she's like, no, you need to follow me. You need to come to this apartment because she's there and we killed her. So then the police go, okay, so there's like this allusion to a confession of murder now. So they go, okay, this is something we actually do need to follow up on. So they follow her over to the apartment just to see if they can make out what's actually going on.
Right. And here's
we have a picture of Ah Fong. Yeah.
There she is. Now it looks like her cheek is swollen up, but I think that's just, maybe that's it, or her eyes cut off, but maybe that's just the way the photo is. You see that?
Yeah, I don't know.
And it's like swollen over here on the side.
I'm not sure.
Maybe it was like somebody tried to Photoshop it but couldn't do it quite right.
Maybe.
But this is Ah Fong.
Mm-hmm. So when they get to the apartment is basically a museum of Hello Kitty dolls and memorabilia.
Like, so.
Just filled with like
everybody knows Hello Kitty stuff.
Yeah. Curtains and dolls and action figures and just everything that you think.
Everything Hello Kitty. Which is, it's a huge thing in Hong Kong. Mm. But it's been a huge thing everywhere, man. Like it blew up.
It's a huge thing everywhere.
It blew up in the 90s.
But it is bizarre that like the house is filled with it. Not just like a couple things. It's like you can see in that photo. Like it's just filled.
Filled.
But I guess that's probably a little disturbing when they go in there. They'd be like, well, maybe someone's been murdered and there's all this stuff in here. What's going on? But what they end up finding inside one of the dolls would be what one police officer described as the worst thing he'd seen in 21 years of police work.
Right.
So, to fully understand what they actually found and what's happening, we have to go back a few years to 1991. In 1991, a 15-year-old girl by the name of Fan Man Yi, who was raised in an all-girls orphanage because she was actually abandoned by her parents when she was very, very young. She aged out of the Hong Kong orphanage system. So when you're 15 or 16, that's when they release you and say, like, you're an adult now, you need to go figure it out.
You're an adult, leave.
Yeah.
So 15?
15, yeah.
Somebody needs to tell my kid that.
I know, right? That's like, like even 18, you're kind of like, okay, you just gotta figure it out.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So obviously not having learned any valuable job skills, being that young and living in an orphanage, Fan Man Yi was forced out on the street, where she developed a drug addiction, and was selling her body to kind of just provide for herself on the street because that's all she figured she could do.
Right, which is pretty dependable money.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not.
She was just kind of like, this is what I have to do because I'm living on the street, and no one wanted to hire her, because she's like a kid.
Right. And Steve, I do believe that action figures can be considered dolls.
Yeah, I think there's more of a connotation to it. No. That was like a thing in the 70s, where like they're trying to sell G.I. Joe dolls.
Right.
And they're like, it doesn't work. You got to call it something else.
Right.
You got to infer something else.
Yeah.
So, well, whatever. It's just a bunch of paraphernalia, I guess you can call it, or memorabilia is a good word too. So for years she's living out on the street, and eventually when she turned 21, she ended up working for a brothel. And I guess someone saw that she was just working on the street on her
Usually
own.
Safer than just
a much better environment.
Right. That's why. Quick pause. I think this sort of stuff should be legal. It seems like stuff like this would be a lot less likely to happen. And we'll find out if sex work was regulated. Right.
And taxable.
There's actually safe places.
Job and safe and
people's income was actually protected.
Because people are going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
So while she's working at this brothel, there was a man named Ing Chi-yun. And he began coming in regularly and requesting Fan Man-yi's services at the brothel. And during their time when he'd come in and, whatever they did, I'm sure they did lots of stuff.
They did things.
Stuff and things.
Yeah.
He felt that he was falling in love with her. He told her he was in love with her and he wanted to marry her. So Ing Chi-yun was not the most savory character by any means. Like, he was a hardcore drug addict and he had a very abusive personality. But to Fan Man-yi, this was an opportunity to get off the street and possibly leave prostitution behind and just kind of have a normal life. So she accepted his proposal and they got married. So for a short while and for a couple of years, it kind of seemed like Fan Man-yi and Ing Chi-yun were relatively happy. The neighbors would file reports of them yelling at each other and stuff like that. Like, you wouldn't say that they had a happy marriage, but it seemed like they had a lot more stability than what Fan Man-yi was coming from.
Right. Real quick. Steve says, calling G.I. Joe a doll is like calling Chuck Norris just another guy.
She'll hear you.
And Nancy's like, you're 15 and have no support system, so off you go.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, it's kind of bizarre, man. It's kind of weird.
Funny thing, this is a side note, this was in the 90s, so that I think Hong Kong, were they under British rule at the time?
In the 90s? I think so.
They weren't actually under Chinese rule. That might be a weird thing where it's like, the British government's been dropping the ball, like having that be the law, you know what I mean? Anyway, y'all can let us know like when that actually happened.
Yeah, if you know. Yeah, I wonder if...
I want to say...
What year was this? 91, 92?
Yeah, 91 when she was 15.
Yeah.
So, anyway, getting back to the story. They actually had a child together, and she got a job at a local nightclub as a hostess. And I think we have a picture of her and her baby.
Aww.
So it seemed like, there was just, she's doing a little better for herself. But unfortunately, not long after the baby was born, her old life kind of came back and found her. So one night she was working at the nightclub, and a man by the name of Chan Man Lok, maybe.
I don't think they go Lok.
Chan Man Lok, we'll say it that way. If anyone speaks Mandarin or Cantonese and can say it better, please let us know.
And then this is the man, Chan.
So he comes into the nightclub and he's talking to his friends and he's like, I swear I've seen that hostess somewhere.
Right.
And so they're at the club, they're at this nightclub and they're drinking. And after a night of drinking, Chan Man Lok says, that's the prostitute that stole my wallet a couple of years ago. And they're like, are you sure it's her? And he's like, I know that's her. So he's like drinking and just getting mad. And he's like, I'm going to go up and say something to her. So he goes up and he goes to Fan Man-yi and he's like, you stole my wallet. He's like, I remember you at this brothel. And you owe me 4,000 Hong Kong dollars, which in United States currency is about $500.
Now in Hong Kong, are they called Hong Kong dollars?
Well, it's called HKD, and in English it stands for Hong Kong dollar, the Hong Kong dollar. I'm sure that there's a Chinese word for it.
Like I didn't know what their currency
Yeah.
was called, but it sounds silly when you call it a Hong Kong dollar.
Yeah, well, I guess you would say USD, you'd say United States dollar.
Yeah, you would.
So, HKD,
Yeah.
Hong Kong dollar. So anyway, he's like, you owe me $4,000. But the reason why I preface that is because I've seen a lot of people say that she stole $4,000 from him, thinking that it was 4,000 American dollars.
Right.
And it wasn't that much money.
Right. Nancy here, she seemed to be very happy at that point in time when she had the kid, But like she tried to get out of it. She went to the nightclub and got the job. But then ended up soon falling back into that whole thing, It's like once you're in it a little bit, you're always kind of in it, because that's where your brain goes. You're like, I need money, I need some kind of support for this child now. I know this is here,
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you do what you have to do, kind of thing.
So, he's saying, you owe me this money, you owe me this money. He said, and on top of that, he's like, because this happened so long ago, he's like, I'm going to charge you interest. So I want another $10,000 or another 10,000 Hong Kong dollars, which I guess would probably be around $1,000 or $1,200, something like that.
Yeah.
So he's charging him more in interest.
Right, and that's what this
guy
mean old man's saying.
Yeah. Chan Man Lok, who was about 34 at the time, I believe. So Fan Man Yi is, nervous and scared of him because he had a reputation of dealing drugs and being violent, and he was kind of known. He was like a big shot.
Right.
So she's like, I'll pay you back. I can get you the money really soon. I don't think I can get you the interest right away, but I'll get it back to you. But however, this proposal did not satisfy Chan Man Lok. So he and his friends, Li Yung Xing Chao and Li Yung Wai Lun, came up with this plan to kidnap Fan Man Yi.
I just want to say that those two names you did really well on.
I did look up.
I feel like that sounded pretty good.
I did look up because the way that Lyon is spelled doesn't look that way.
Like, so this guy named Leon.
Yeah.
That's what
So I did look it up. So,
Yeah.
And they devised a plan to kidnap her so that they could figure out how to get their money out of her.
Right.
So the three men, and I believe we have a photo of the three men.
Yeah. Larry, Mo, and Curly.
Chan Man Lok, Liang Xing Chao, and Liang Wai Lun.
Was that in order?
I
1, 2,
believe
3?
I believe that's in order.
Yeah.
I don't know if Wai Lun is on the end or if he's in the middle, because they have the same. I believe they actually have the same last name. The first names, you say last name first.
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe they were brothers, but I don't think so. I think it was just a common last name.
Yeah.
So the three men abducted Fan Man Yi outside of her apartment, and they took her back to Chan Man Lok's apartment, which had been the place that was furnished with all those Hello Kitty product memorabilia things.
Right. So he was like into it?
Yeah, apparently.
That was his whole thing.
Apparently, that's what he had at his apartment.
Collectibles. I mean, to each their own.
So originally, Chan had planned to force Fan Man Yi back into prostitution so that he could get his money back and settle the debt. But upon getting to the apartment, he changed his mind, and instead of trying to force her back into prostitution, he just began subjecting her to all this sadistic and unrelenting torture.
Right. Which sounds like a great idea.
For about a month, this went on.
In captive, so she's not anywhere.
In captivity
for like a month.
In the apartment for a whole month.
Okay.
And it's
all
like
these...
it's a little hard to say, but we're gonna say what they did. So
do you need my help? I can find it.
Well, for about a month, they raped Fan Man Yi.
Yeah.
They beat her with metal bars, and they burned her. They get like plastic and wax and burn her, but they also severely burned the bottom of her feet because they were worried that she would try to run away. So if we burn the bottom of her feet, she won't be able to walk. And then they they gagged her to muffle her screams. And then when she would get wounds from getting beat or scratched, they would rub spices and like peppers in her wounds. One, in an effort to try to keep her alive longer so they could torture her more, but also because it was more painful. They forced her to consume human feces and drink human urine. And lastly, they would tie her up with an electrical cord and hang her from the ceiling and use her as a swinging bag, a punching bag.
Okay.
So after a month of all this various forms of torture, Fan Man-yi died while they were away, because they would take a break and they'd go and do their normal thing. So she died while they were out, and
which was much to their surprise.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like,
well,
I mean, think about what they're doing to her, man.
The thing is, what you say, like, I know that sounds weird, but
yeah,
like when everything comes to a head, that was one of the excuses that they gave.
Right.
So at the time, Chan Man-lok was dating a 13-year-old named Ah Fong from the beginning of the story.
Yeah.
So he'd have Ah Fong come over, and they were really into playing video games and watching TV and all that stuff. And that's probably also why he had all that Hello Kitty shit.
Right.
Because he was 34 and she was 13. So he...
Which is kind of gross. So he collected this stuff to maybe like make himself seem...
Yeah, probably to like
younger
seduce
girls.
children as well on top of it. Yeah, he's a real winner.
Yeah.
So, and basically he convinced her to help torture Fan Man-yi, because she later admitted to the police that she was in on some of the torture, and he would say like, no, it's just for fun, it's not a big deal, like, it's okay, I know it seems like we're doing this terrible thing, but it's all in good fun.
Right.
So after this happened,
that's not real blood. It's just
fun.
Yeah,
well, I don't know if he told her like it wasn't real.
She's not eating real poop. That's chocolate.
But he was trying to make it seem like this is normal.
Yeah.
So
it's a thing we do.
When they returned to the apartment and Fan Man-yi is dead, they decided they needed to dispose of her body. So the way that they disposed of her body is they put her in the bathtub in the apartment. I think we have a picture of the bathtub in the apartment. We do. And they dismembered her in the bathtub.
Look at that's gross.
Yeah, and like I'm really glad that this is a black and white photo.
Yeah,
is that may be blood from Fan Man-yi, or it may just be a rust stain. It kind of seems like it's coming from the faucet, so it might just be
gross. They don't know how to clean their stuff.
I think we do have a picture. Did we show a picture of
the apartment?
Some of the apartment as well.
No, I got it right.
The apartment, like, what wasn't dressed up with Hello Kitty stuff was.
That's what it looked like in there.
A mess. That was where.
Hold on, we're blowing this up so you guys can see what in the world.
That was a part of the crime scene where Ah Fong said that they would torture her.
Like, look at that. What? Like what?
Yeah.
No, I don't know, man. So wait, we went from the. Hold on, let's do like a comparison here.
Well, I'm sure that like this was probably like not the front of the apartment. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
But it's an apartment.
Like this is one of the rooms of the apartment, and then over here in the back is the torture room kind of a thing.
Like
is what I'm imagining.
Yeah, it's like welcome in this happy place, and then like come into my apartment, like into the rest of it. Like once you're like used to me and you know what's going on, and I have like murder death room. That's what that looks like. It looks like you're just gonna straight up murder and kill somebody in that room. That is insane.
Aaron says he wasn't dating her for sure. He was a fucking predator.
Yeah.
Rebecca says either way, there's too much iron in that tub.
Yeah.
That's fucking awful, but true.
Yeah.
So anyway, and what they did with the remaining pieces of dismembering her is they chopped her up into small enough pieces that they could boil the pieces, in hopes to destroy DNA evidence. And then her internal organs they kept in the refrigerator for dog food. And then her head, after her head had been boiled, they kept it and they sewed it inside of a Hello Kitty mermaid doll.
Yeah.
Which was one of, like, it was a very popular doll that year. It was like the sought after one.
Yeah. Especially this one.
And I think we have a picture of the actual mermaid
What's up,
doll.
Rico? Check this out, Rico.
So they hid her head and sewed it into that doll.
Blowing these things up so you guys can see them a little bit better. I don't know if you're watching on TV or if you're watching on your phone. But yeah, so that her head is sewn inside of that thing.
Yeah. Well, and, like, I don't. They may have removed it in this photo. I'm not sure.
And then sewed it back.
Or it's from the back. I'm not sure. Like, I know this was the photo from the crime scene, but I don't know, like, when this photo was taken. I don't know if they were like, her head's in there and they took a picture of it and then confirmed it, or if this was, like, later taken into evidence or something.
Yeah.
So they arrest all four of them.
Yeah.
So there was a trial for it was like 6 weeks, a little over 6 weeks they were in trial, and the three men were convicted of manslaughter. And the reason why they were...
Real quick, Rico, catch you up. Group of people, there's a prostitute. They found her later, supposedly stole their money, held her captive, tortured her, killed her, found her dead.
Dismembered her body.
Dismembered, cut up everything.
Put her head inside a doll.
Cut off her head, put it inside of that doll. That's where we're at.
Quick recap, that's where we're at. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
So, and the reason why they were convicted of manslaughter and not murder is because the evidence was so destroyed that they really only had Ah Fong's testimony of what happened to Fan Man Yi. So they couldn't determine the moment of her death or the means of her death. They couldn't, definitively determine her cause of death.
They did determine that her head was inside of that.
Because the evidence was just so destroyed.
Yeah.
So
Rico said, "It's a damn shame what they did to that cat."
It's awful. It is, isn't it?
It's a damn shame.
It is. It doesn't take away from it. They shouldn't have done that to that cat. So, however, the jury did determine that Fan Man Yi's death was caused by her three captors.
Yeah.
Due to Ah Fong's testimony, which she had traded for immunity in the case. So the three men were sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 20 years. So granted, this conviction was in 2000, so they were up for parole in 2020.
Are they released now? It's like 2022. Are they out?
Leong, and I don't know if it was, I don't know which Leong it was, but one of the accomplices was released actually early in 2014 due to good behavior. And I'm imagining it had to be really good behavior.
That'd be like, what in the world, man? You literally raped this girl and beat her with metal pipes and made her eat your own shit.
Like every horrible thing that you can imagine, yeah. And you just get manslaughter.
And you're like, you can go early.
And
you're good.
So from what I could find, I tried to look up because I was like, what happened? Like I was going on Reddit forums and I was going, and it, to the best of my knowledge today, Chan Mon Lok and one of the other accomplices are still in jail. They did appeal it in 2003 or 2004.
Right.
Because they were like, we didn't know she was going to die. We were just beating her up.
Right.
We didn't mean to kill her. And the judge, it was the same judge actually that went over the appeals, because I guess you're allowed to do that in Hong Kong.
Right.
Immediately saw the case and was like, no, I'm going to make sure you stay in jail for as long as the law can hold you.
Yeah.
Because he was like, you dismembered her body, you went through great lengths to cover it up, and then kept mementos to feed your dog, and kept her skull in one of your dolls, and they're like, no, you need to stay in jail for as long. Like, we're not hearing your appeal.
Well, it's like Nancy says here, like, rewarded them fuckers for a good cover-up job. You know, it's like, oh, since we didn't have enough evidence, then. But I guess that it makes sense why, if you really break it down. Knowing the story for what it is, it's like, holy shit, why could they, you know? But according to law stuff, I mean, if you don't, again, they only have the testimony.
You only have testimony. You know that there's a dead body, but no one's really owning up to who did it. And there's three people
involved, and there's a skull.
You can't determine when she died because you boiled all of the evidence.
Right.
So,
and it also says, Nancy said, because he got released, the guy that got early release said, let me guess, he found Jesus.
Right.
Which is usually what happens, man. They're like, oh, he's good, man, because he's like, it's all up in that.
Yeah, I don't know. I tried looking up a little bit of his story as to why he was released, and there wasn't a lot of information.
Enrico here says he should have found Jesus after sentencing at the gas chamber. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if at the time Hong Kong had the death penalty.
Yeah.
They may have not had the death penalty, but at the same time, I don't know if their manslaughter laws are like our manslaughter laws here. Usually, like manslaughter, you get convicted of that if you kill someone accidentally with your car.
Right.
Or so, like when it's an accident, they say like, well, you didn't murder the person, you weren't thinking about it.
Real quick survey. Leave in the comments, are you for or against
the death penalty?
The death penalty.
Oh, we're gonna like get into like some real philosophy here. Some
I'm
real
just asking.
man philosophy.
I'm just asking, man. Like, are you for it?
What do you think?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking like opinions, because like to me, like, shouldn't, like, I always view everything, no matter what happens in your life, whether it be positive or negative, as a way for you to learn, and for like your soul or spirit or whatever this thing is,
if you're executed, how are you going to learn?
To advance and learn its lessons to move on to whatever the next thing is. That's how I view stuff. So how would I be okay with just like kill that dude? He's stopped, like, because he almost like he needs to be able to learn those lessons. But at the same time, if someone's like that messed up and there's no coming back from it, there's no lesson to be learned.
Yeah.
Like, there is nothing. So like at that point I go like, well, you
have to remove them.
Yeah, they need to be removed from society. What do you think?
It is one of those things, like, you want to believe that everyone's redeemable. When it comes to certain things, though, I just go like, no, that they should learn their lesson in another life. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, they went too far. That's the thing. It's like some people that they've gone too far and there's no going back. Like, that's how they think. That's how they process existence. Yeah,
because there's something wrong.
Right.
And you know, gosh, on top, the only thing though that I have seen is there's a lot of cases now with DNA evidence. There are a lot of people that were on death row for a while and then were exonerated because they go, oh, there was no possible way that was your DNA.
Right.
We actually definitively know that someone else killed that person.
Right.
Because here is 99.9% accuracy proving that you were not there.
Yeah.
And that's a scary kind of hell to think about, that you could be sentenced to death and you're waiting for 10, 20 years and you didn't do it.
Right.
So I think that is a reason to shy away from the death penalty, because do you really know that the person did it? And are you willing to execute the wrong person just so you have a sense of justice?
Well, I guess, but that's always like situational.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
But again,
which is
situational.
Which is situational in my eyes too. It's like, I think there should be enough like psychological evaluations done, things like that. Like I said, if someone's like too far gone, I'm pretty pro, like, take them out of society. But if they're not, if they have the chance for their soul, spirits, however you want to, however you want to put it, if you
think they can be redeemed from it,
that they can learn that lesson that they're supposed to be learning. You know, let's see here.
Let's
Rico says firing squad.
Yeah.
Nancy says against. Steve says for-ish.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Rico says eye for an eye,
which is totally understandable.
Rebecca says against, And Nancy says here, I don't trust the government enough, and it's too expensive. That is one of the problems. Is like I was saying, the proper psychological evaluation and stuff.
Well, and also, like in our country, like you don't sentence someone to die and then you kill them the next day.
Right.
You put them in jail for 10 or 20 years, and usually there's multiple ways to appeal and to review evidence, and they try their best to make sure that they're executing the person that they're sure did the crime.
Usually, like if you really break it down, most of these people, like they're not killed right away. They're put in, and most of them die before they even get to the death penalty.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just locked up in a box, which we are paying for. Which it depends if you hold those kind of values.
But that's what you would do if you sentence someone to life.
Right.
It's just as expensive.
Right. Let's see here. I just don't like it, is what she says. Nancy says. Rico says, I'm from the school of hard knocks. Lessons have to be learned. Absolutely, man. He also says, some folks like me need to have their eyes opened, is all I'm saying. Made me a better person. Steve here says, my 4th book is about a woman who is hours away and being executed for a murder she didn't commit. Hey.
Y'all, let us know when that is out,
yeah,
and we'll help you plug it.
By the way, Steve, go ahead and leave
that sounds terrifying. And
for all of us here hanging out, we need a reminder. If you have an Amazon link to your books, man, make sure you share those. We would all like to check them out.
Yeah, I mean, like, we're a small channel, so we're not going to charge you for, like...
No, that's going to be $100.
Sponsorships.
$100.
Maybe when we get big, we'll be like, hey, keep your shit out of our comments.
No.
But for right now, like, anybody, like...
I'll never say that.
If you got something that you're doing, especially if it's on topic, like, send links. Like, say, like, hey, this is what I'm doing with this topic.
Rico does say corrupt justice is a whole other topic, which it totally is. Totally is.
Totally true.
I was just curious what everybody thought, because it is a weird thing to think about. Because obviously there's more. I mean, even with the beginning of the story, I think you missed out on this part, Rico, is that the young girl that got immunity, that was confessing this stuff to the police, the reason she came to the police is because she saw an apparition, saw the ghost of the woman that they killed. And that was tied up in things. Now, I don't know if that was a psychological trauma, or if that was actually she saw a ghost. I've seen things in my lifetime.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
That's another.
Is it a ghost? Is it your brain? Yeah,
that's a whole
other topic. Yeah.
But that to me is more of that stuff of like, these people, do they need to learn these lessons? It needs to be more. I don't want to say complicated, but more like thorough when we do these kind of like evaluations.
Well, and I think. To a lot of times, and again, this is a totally different country. This is not the United States. Because in the United States, there's always like, this is what the person did, and this is what the law says we should do, and there's these different courses of actions to take. So if your state says you can execute them, you can put that on the table, or you give them life in prison without parole, or you give them parole for this long.
Right.
And it's like a lot of crimes have a range of sentencing.
Right.
So that way the judge can look at the individual and determine, like, are they remorseful? Are they not? Are they just a fucking animal?
Right.
Like, what's going on?
What is going on?
Yeah.
But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed our story. Thank you for partaking in my little questionnaire thing there, because like it's really like interesting stuff, man. Like, those are like the big topics, like where a lot of people don't even discuss that sort of thing. But before we get to our wrap up here, we want to remind everybody that we've got merch still available over there on storefrontier.com/Roshambeaux. Just released our tank tops for summer. All kinds of cool designs, cuts, colors, sweetness. Sizes.
Oh, and a friend of mine messaged me the other day and said, I keep seeing stuff for tank tops, but do you still have t-shirts available? And we do.
We do.
They're there.
We do. So if you don't do Rock the Tank,
you can always get you can get tees year round.
Year round.
So like when hoodies come out in the winter,
yeah,
you can still get a tee.
Still get t-shirt.
Tees will always be there.
You'll need it. Yeah. You'll need it. So what's your thoughts, man? What's your final thoughts on this whole story?
I thought it was insane that they got convicted of manslaughter.
Yeah.
But again, I kind of had to go, this is a totally different country. Manslaughter might mean a different thing there. They were sentenced 20 years to life.
Right, and here if you just get manslaughter, you're not
But to me, it's
life.
like that one guy, it was weird that like he did this and he only served 14 years, and that's just, like, that didn't sit well with me.
Right,
You know what
sure.
I mean? Yeah, it's terrible. It's unfortunate that like it seemed like, you know, this person was dealt a raw hand and was trying their best to turn their life around, and something like this still happened to them, even though they were trying to leave that life. It's a heartbreaking story. I know, thinking this and last week's story, I my heart kind of goes out to the people that have to deal with stories like this all the time, like detectives and coroners, and you know, all the people that have to deal with death like this. It's got to do something to, like, I feel like it does something to me just hearing the stories once, but to actually have to live through that is depressing. But I'm glad someone else does it and not me. You know what I mean?
Right.
What are your final thoughts?
I think don't
kill people.
Don't kidnap women.
If someone
and rape
steals
them.
your wallet, just let it go.
Just let it go.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's a messed up story for sure. There's a little bit of hope to the story, that the lady that actually went to confess to the police, that she actually had the morals in her brain,
and was able to escape.
And was able to escape the situation, and was able to bring that to light to the police. And that's her journey, her experience. I think that's a little bit of positive light in it.
Absolutely.
I do believe, I agree with Rico that the supernatural is real. So I don't know how much of what is what, if it's actually like, ooh, there it is, touch it, or if it is real because it's here because we're all on this thing. I'm not going to get all into that.
Yeah, we don't have to get it. To me, it's like, I think there's just a bunch we don't understand.
Yeah.
And I think that
there's tons.
Like, obviously, there's a bunch we don't understand.
Yeah. Right now, we're just in this little meat water bag thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think that it's messed up. I think that to find a little bit of light in the situation is always good. But yeah, don't trust somebody with that many Hello Kitty dolls. So, what do you guys think? Oh, don't bring up the Georgia guys.
Yeah, okay. So we'll get off topic. We have a couple minutes left.
Yeah.
You went there.
I did.
You did a whole piece on it.
Did it
like a year or two ago?
Yeah.
It's, if you go to Van Philosophy or RoshambeauxMusic.com/Van Philosophy, it's like in the blogs that we do every week. You did a whole piece on it. It was really good. Yeah, it's insane that they're bombed.
Yeah, I think they released the video and they showed the explosion.
There was video of the explosion?
Yeah, they showed, because there's cameras on the site.
There's cameras all the time. I saw pictures the day after. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so there's like cameras on. So they saw the explosion happen, and this is at least what they released. And they saw a silver or whitish car go. So obviously, you know, and what's weird is I keep seeing posts online that are like, thank goodness that they're taken down. Like, people see it as like a thing. Like it's like,
well, there's a thing about the human population shouldn't be so high.
It's all messed up,
you know.
But it's a thing that was there. It's like, I don't know.
I feel like,
why don't you erect your own monument that says the opposite if you believe in the opposite?
Yeah, because there was a story. It was privately funded, but they didn't really know who was behind it. It's kind of this mysterious thing.
Yeah.
I remember reading, like, I don't know what was all on them, but I remember thinking like, oh, that's a little messed up and that's a little messed up. But none of it really seemed like it was just this horrible, menacing thing that was going to brainwash everyone in America and all that stuff. Like, it just seemed like, oh, someone had these ideas and put them up and whatever. It's art. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, like Rico, he said, let's rebuild it, Pookie. We can carve tornado lyrics in it.
Torpedo lyrics in it, yeah. Dude, that would be hilarious if we could immortalize that song.
Right.
People be like,
what does that even mean?
Punk? What is this?
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense at all.
I listen to that song, I'm like, what does this even mean? No, but I think I don't know. I don't.
We could do a whole topic on that. And be like, what do the lyrics in Torpedo actually mean? Because they do actually mean something.
They do. It lays out a whole story.
We decided that we wanted to write a story using colloquialisms. Is that the right word? Or using lingo that from the United States that just is not used anymore.
Right.
That was, and I think we wanted we wanted it to be like around 100 years old. So
Yeah.
we used stuff from like the teens and 20s.
Yeah.
And found out these are things that people said and wrote a story using those terms.
Yeah. The whole thing. But yeah, Steve said Nancy said that Steve said.
Nancy said that Steve said.
They took the rest of it down. They did. So they found that it was so unsafe to go and see him because it was blown up and stuff that, you know, those big pillars would just end up falling on somebody. So they tore the whole damn thing down. Which kind of...
It's weird. It's weird that you say that, like, you're seeing people say, like, oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, people are like,
like
really
people
like,
are
yeah, tear it down.
And that's weird. I mean...
That's the wrong...
The
I
thing,
feel like those are the wrong emotions. Like, you need to be like... Someone that thinks like whatever was on there. There was some good stuff on there.
Well,
but there was some bad stuff on there, too.
What type of narrative were they saying, like, because it was so racist? Or because it was so elitist?
No, because from what they're saying, it's like because they're like, we're done with this new world order crap. Because people they put that in there with the whole like population reduction. You're gonna have nothing and be happy. You know, the new.
Oh, and it was like it was like
this
is making communism look good or something like that.
Yeah, well, it's like, you know, I don't know if you know about the whole new world order thing.
That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, I know it's a whole nother topic. I'm sorry. We're getting to the end here.
We should maybe do that one.
Yeah, but like they put that with that and was saying that represents the ideas and ideals of these people that are in charge of certain things. The people that might have or may not have released a certain something that put us in our homes for months. You know, people that like try to connect all of those little lines and things. Yeah, the ones that are burning down the food distribution factories, you know, the processing plants that I think it was like 50 of them got burned down.
Yeah. Yeah,
and like food shortages,
and they're trying to
food
be like,
shortages.
no, that's not what it was. Yeah,
yeah,
all that stuff.
So it's a lot. It's a lot.
Sherry said they said it was satanic.
Satanic.
People are saying it's satanic.
I don't think people understand what actually like Satanism is. That's what's funny. I remember like my mom.
We did a vlog on it.
Yeah, dude. My mom told me one time
we
like
did
I got like a cool like Baphomet statue, and my mom's like, "That's satanic." I'm like, they use it,
but the thing is if you're really actually going to use the word, you say like, well, only to you.
Right. Oh, yeah, to you.
Because Satan just means enemy.
Right.
That was like, remember when Osama bin Laden was in the news and he's calling the United States the Great Satan.
Yeah.
And they would use that term, but in Hebrew and Arabic and like in Eastern languages, the word Satan means enemy.
Yeah.
So he was saying they're the great enemy.
Yeah.
So he was not like being poetic about it. He was saying like, this is our biggest enemy.
Yes.
But the news was like, oh, let's put some connotation on
It's like
this.
the Tower of Babel.
Let's put some connotation on this to make it sound more menacing. And
Yeah.
that a lot, unfortunately, happens with things when people are describing.
Nancy says here
satanic
next week on
things.
Van Philosophy, New World Order. You know, we need to do that one. But actually, sadly, as a reminder, we are not doing a vlog next week.
We are not. We're taking a break because we got shows coming up.
But real quick, before we get to our end, go check out Patreon. I know a lot of you guys over there are on it, and you guys are the sauce.
The sauce. Do you see like a darker?
Yeah.
Sauce.
Okay.
Cool. Awesome.
Even for as little as $1 a month, man, if you guys aren't on there, go check it out, man. There's all kinds of cool stuff. We're working on the next cover video right now. Working on the next cover song that was requested. We're really excited about it. It's awesome. Also, there's backlogs of all of the other covers that are on there. We have some behind the scenes stuff.
And there's stuff that's just not gonna get released because it was early, but they're still good and they're just for Patreon.
Yeah.
So there's an archive and a library of stuff now.
Yeah. So go check it out, man. Go check it out. Yeah. So next week we are not going to be doing a vlogcast. But we will be back the following week. With so many shows, we were talking about possibly kind of slowing them down here and there. But we'll make sure we let you guys know. If you follow the blogs, make sure you're on the mailing list over. You can go sign up on RoshambeauxMusic.com or Roshambeaux.com.
Any of the pages on our website, it's like the first thing because that's the best way to know what's up.
But yeah, so this is a crazy story. A couple comments first, and then we're gonna head out. Let's see here. Rico says we are tearing down America to build America. Or
just America.
America. Oh, it's America. Is that what you're saying? That's kind of funny. Ugh.
One comment I saw said that they were glad it was gone because they were put up by the hippie commies that she said that she had to deal with in the 60s and 70s.
I don't think it was actually. It was one dude that funded it, and he did it under a pseudonym. And
he didn't want anyone to know who he was.
And
he was a very, very wealthy, rich guy.
The purpose of it was that whenever some kind of apocalyptic thing were to happen, was to be guidelines to actually survive without
technology, be able to live primitively and rebuild society.
Yes, because after a little while, without technology and all those things, you actually won't be able to support that many people as far as population goes.
Yeah.
And it was kind of based on that, which I do not agree with population control. I do believe on making sure we keep an eye on it and how we're going to shape our society.
Well, and
I only had one kid.
Was it global?
Two, but one of my own.
Was on the guidestones, was he saying, was it global population, or was it just like when you have a group of people, you can, a local government can only manage this many people?
Yeah, it was. No, it was more like the resources can't feed this many.
Oh, okay.
Let's see here. Rant off.
Me is the new enemy.
Nice. It made me grateful that I was raised by my parents. Is what Rebecca says. Yes. I like Nancy's little face there. Highly recommend Patreon. Yes.
Sweet.
Thank you. We're glad you're liking it. We're trying so hard. Okay.
So hard.
Rebecca says, "Oh, I know she wasn't being accurate." So I'm sitting here reading these comments. I'm wondering if people are like responding to each other. We're just saying them. Anyway,
we're just like spying on people.
Reading your
what do you say?
What do you
say?
Let
you.
Me know. See, me and someone else has hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Please share this thing around. Let everybody know.
Subscribe.
Tell your
friends in real life.
Tell your friends.
I know the thing is, it's like you can share.
Yeah.
And that's cool. But like next time you're talking to someone, if you like what we're doing, be like, "Hey, Roshambeaux did this thing. It's cool. You should go check it out.
Check out this band. Yeah. Show us on Spotify. Something.
Yeah.
Or if you hate our music and you just think we're funny.
If you hate us, tell everyone.
Please.
Because that actually is better.
Yeah. Works out. But that's going to do it for us, you guys. Thank you so much again for tuning in here with us. A reminder, we won't be here next week, but we will be here the following week. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and all of that stuff, or sign up on the mailing list from the website, Roshambeaux.com, and you'll know whenever we're doing what we're doing. We've got a cool show coming up next week down in Statesboro, so if you're in the area, be sure to come check it out. And the following weekend, we are in Dahlonega. If you're in the area, come check it out. We're doing like a cool little kind of acoustic-y thing. And the week after that, we're going to be in Hiawassee. Doing another full show. So we love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time,
be cool.
Stay off the crack.
Yeah, don't do drugs.
Yeah.
Don't be hiding skulls in your Hello Kitty dolls.
You don't cut up.
Don't be stringing up people by electrical cords. And don't do that.
Don't do it.
Don't.
It's nasty.
It's gross.
It's bad.
It's awful.
Bad.
Terrible.
Awful.
Disgusting.
The worst. Love you guys.